Welcome to the Brawley Barrel House. I've gotten a lot of questions and comments over the past year. People ask, Ryan, how long are you gonna let your hair grow? Until it's done. But this is too long. This is a lot. It's too much. This is too much hair. I'll fix it. So today on the show, we're gonna do something pretty cool. One second. Today, I'm gonna try to define a particular category of whiskeys that I like to call high-ish proofs. These aren't necessarily gonna be your big, heavy, typical high-proof barrel strengths, but they're pretty close. These are mighty warriors, hefty fellas, thick boys, if you will, and you will. But they're all gonna have a couple of traits in common that I think make them really good options for a few things. One, I think these are really good Friday night sippers. You come home after a long week, you want something with a little bit more punch and more heft to it. These are all good options. And if you're not necessarily into whiskey, but you have a friend or a relative that is into whiskey, I think these all make fantastic gifts. A few things to qualify here as far as criteria. One, these are all about 115-ish proof points. They're also pretty readily accessible. I don't know of any of these besides maybe one or two that I couldn't find at almost any liquor store that I went to in North Carolina. And they're all $60 or under. So we're looking at a pretty reasonable range as far as affordability, availability, and drinkability. So without further ado, I'm gonna announce which ones we got. They're all blind. I've mixed these up. I have no idea which one they are. I'm gonna go through, taste test them, tell you my personal preferences, and compare them a little bit. In no particular order, we have Old Forester 1920 coming in at 115 proof points from Old Forester. Noah's Mill from Willett coming in at 100, oops, hold on one second. They're very particular with their proof points, and I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so Noah's Mill coming in at 57.15% alcohol. Thank you for that. That is 114.3 proof. Very close, so close. We've got a personal favorite of mine, Chattanooga Cask Strength whiskey coming in at 111 proof points. To me, it's actually fairly similar in some ways to Noah's Mill, and I'm curious to see if I can differentiate them blind. That's not technically a bourbon, the rest of these are bourbons, but it is a Tennessee whiskey, and I'm telling you what, if you have not had a Chattanooga product, go get yourself one. Also, Chattanooga whiskey, holler at me, what's up? We've got Wild Turkey Rare Breed, their standard barrel proof, and that is a 116.8. And then we got the affordable option, Old Grandad, 114, ringing in at, you guessed it, 114 proof. Real quick price points from highest to lowest. Old Forester 1920 is about 60 bucks depending on where you find it. Noah's Mill I found for $52. Rare Breed is around 45 bucks. Both times I found the Chattanooga Cask Strength, it was 40 bucks. So again, I don't want to sing its praises too heavily before we get into this, but 40 bucks for that whiskey, in my opinion, is a pretty strong deal. And then Old Grandad 114 is around 30. Some consider it one of the greatest values you can get in the bourbon community, and I agree. Let's go ahead and commence with the boom bow. Once again, I've got my little mead notebook here, and I'll be making some notes. Number one, let's smell it and let us taste. Number one's got a whole lot of cinnamon, a whole lot of it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, haven't had whiskey in a while, and I'm coming right in with these proofs. Getting assaulted. Yeah, so that's super. Cinnamon, buttery, honey, like brown sugar. It's like if you took a piece of toast and you put you just fried it in butter, slathered a bunch of like honey and cinnamon brown sugar on there, and then you stuck it to your fist and punched someone in the face with it. That's what that's like. Number two's got more of like a sugar cherry thing going on. More of like a fruit kind of thing. Ooh, that's nice. Deep caramel, but like sweet deep caramel. Sugar, little barrel dryness at the end there. That's nice. A little banana, just a little tiny, maybe a little banana in there. Which leads me to believe it could possibly be Old Forester, but I don't want to speculate. Numero tres. Sounds a little sharper, more ethanol in the nose. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. That is spicy, not in a bad way at all. It's like tingly. That wraps it all the way around your tongue. Gives a bear hug. little bit of chocolate. It's like if someone took one of those chocolate oranges you get in Christmas around Christmas time where you can crack them open and it looks like orange peels. This has kind of got something like that going on if one of those was like filled with anger. You think it's gonna hit harder than it does. I mean, it lingers for a minute. It hangs around on you, but it's not altogether unwelcome. And that finish is dry too, like dry like I have to eat like a bunch of peanuts dry. Moving on to number 4. Ooh, way different. Way different. Cherry. No, like cherry, like a cherry, like Red Hot candy cherry. And floral. And like that, like the smell jumps out of the glass, but it's not alcohol, it's like smelled. Let's get up in my business. Oh. I don't think I know what that one is, but I sure do like that. That's really good. It's different. It is different than anything I've had up to this point for sure. It's very distinguishable. But yeah, I'm a fan of that. And it doesn't present quite as hot as the rest of these. There might be a reason for that. It might be the lowest proof of them, but like a nice Red Hots candy, easy going, gentle sweetness, nice and even. Doesn't really spike out in any direction, but it has like a nice kind of a round, fruity spiciness. I'm probably getting off the camera. I can see myself drifting. All right, last but not least, number 5. We'll go back through, after I'm done with this one, I'll go back through and make my final assessment. Ooh. 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 Like peppery. That's like peppery. I like that. Ooh, man, I like that. It's also got a little tiny bit of the Red Hots thing going on, but it's not so candied. It's more just like cinnamon. Like cinnamon, buttery. It hits in the back of the tongue. Man, that's rich too. It's rich, but it's not like overwhelmingly sweet. That's really nice. I like that one a lot too. These are all good. This is gonna be a tough deal. So if I had to come up with a couple adjectives to describe each one, break them down that way. Number 1, nice, clean, solid, a little bit of a spice kick in a good way. Number 2, rich, deep, caramel sugar, like bananas Foster type thing. Number 3, baking spices, citrus, lemon zest, a little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of chocolate. Number 4, cinnamon candy. Nice, like just a roundness to it. It's nice, but a little bit more of the brighter fruit flavors, like higher fruit, like not so much of the deep ones that some of these other ones had. Number 5. All right, you know what? Side by side with these, I'm actually changing my mind on what I think this might be. It's got some similarities with this, but this is has a lot more of the kind of sits lower in the seat type of deal, you know? Hit your tongue a little harder, has got kind of more of the traditional deep brown sugar caramel situation and not so much of the brighter, more cherry like fruit flavors that this does. This is gonna be like impossible to rate because they're all good for different reasons. There's not one that I've had that I'm like, that was kind of funky. I'm gonna level with you folks. I feel like we've reached that place. We got that kind of rapport going. I think honestly my preferences for all of these would depend on the day. So I'm going to rank them, but trust me, right now, the top ones are gonna be the top ones because of my preferences today. Tomorrow, I might prefer something different. It'd be what I was in the mood for at that particular time. So I'm gonna rank them now, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. This was very difficult. This was the most difficult one I've done of these, maybe ever. The margins were like razor thin. So if I pick your favorite as last, I'm sorry. Leave a comment and tell me why I'm wrong. And while you're down there, like and subscribe and all that. Ring the bell, do that stuff. Thank you. There's nothing wrong with any of these. I really like all of them. And you really can't go wrong, so it might just be a price point thing for you or the particular flavors that you prefer in your bourbon. I'm pretty sure I have an idea of what most of these are, if not all of them. And I'll tell you if I was right at the end, but my last place was number 3, and that is Old Grandad 114. Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I really like it. Actually, as I went on with the test, it started gaining some steam and almost got in 4th place. But it was just kind of, for lack of a better term, maybe the heaviest of the 5, and I ate dinner not too long ago, so I wasn't really looking for a lot of heft right now. It's really good. It's 30 bucks if you can find it. There's no reason not to pick it up. I think as far as best value in these, you definitely can make an argument that Old Grandad 114 is the best among them. If you like Jim Beam stuff, if you like that nuttier flavor profile, this is an awesome option. I think a lot of the Old Grandad stuff is super underrated, especially the bonded for 20 bucks. But this to me is actually a better value because you can proof it down, you can put ice in it, it stands into ice. And it's got this like awesome citrusy zest thing going on that I really like. All right, so number 4, again, very close. All very close. Number 1. And that was, oh, my rare breed. That sucks, man. I figured. Again, rare breed's awesome. Rare breed is a great value. I love wild turkey stuff. It's a super awesome value for a barrel proof whiskey. There's nothing wrong with it. That's the one adjective that I kept thinking of when I was drinking it, was like solid, good. Nothing crazy in any particular direction, but just a good, nice, high proof whiskey. Number three was number 4. Number 3 was number 4, and that's the Chattanooga whiskey. That's what I thought, yeah. The top 3 were super interchangeable. The bottom 2 are really close, and they're really close to the top 3, but the top 3 were kind of in a bracket by themselves, and they were, I think depending on the day, could rotate in and out. The Chattanooga whiskey is really awesome, especially for the money. I cannot recommend this enough to you. For 40 bucks, it's worth a flyer, and they're doing some really cool stuff down there. A lot of experimental barrels, a lot of finishing stuff, and they're incredibly transparent on the back. They tell you their mash bill, they tell you the cooperage information, the batch size, how many barrels go into it, the age. I mean, those guys are doing some really cool stuff. So yeah, Chattanooga whiskey, well worth your time, and pound for pound as far as the price goes, I mean, it's holding its own for sure in this batch. So number 2 would be number 5, which is Noah's Mill, making my number 1 winner of this particular flight of Thick Boys, Old Forester 1920. It was really close. I like Old Forester. A lot of these reviews have revealed that I like Old Forester. The Noah's Mill is really solid. It's got this really nice, like buttery, cinnamon, herbal, cherry, deep brown sugar thing going on, and it's awesome. It's so close between these 3, I'm telling you. The 1920 has just got this little extra note that I really dig out of Old Forester. It's hard to describe. It's like, well, let me try. Let me give it a shot here. It's a sweetness. It's not like an artificial sugar sweetness. It's like a natural sweetness, but it's not like a sicky sweetness. This nice baking spice, banana foster, creamy custardness. So I hope that was informative. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you'd like me to do next. If you have any suggestions. Thank you again, as always, for watching. I'm Brian. This has been the Brawley Barrel House. We out. My neighbor's watching me. She's like, why is there a camera and lighting set up in this kitchen? How you doing?